I'm going to give you some easy, objective tests that you can take to determine whether your genetics are good or not, and the real truth and secrets on how I was able to overcome my shit genetics and build an attractive physique, even though I thought I never could. And the first one is going to come down to frame. If you look at yourself in the mirror, do you have a wide frame? If you have poor genetics, you're more than likely going to be built like a rectangle or like a triangle. So your body is shaped like this, or it is shaped like this. And it is this inverted look that makes us unattractive, because it actually makes our waist look bigger than our shoulders. A key standard for attractiveness to females and just general psychological attractiveness and respect is to have wider shoulders than you do waist. And the specific golden ratio that I talk about all the time in all my videos is 1.6x. Now, if you have bad genetics, chances are you're going to be built more like this, closer to a 1 or even a below 1 ratio. If you have a below 1 ratio, you are cooked and you have some serious work to do. But for most guys, we are probably starting around 1.1, 1.2, and we can actually fix this, which I'll show you how to do later. Now, another very important genetic factor that we must consider is our body fat distribution. If we have high amounts of fat in our stomach region, it's going to take away from the V-taper and make the ratio smaller. But also, some guys are just born with superior fat distribution genetics. I was not. I have always been someone who holds a lot of fat in their stomach, but not much fat everywhere else. When I was skinny, when I first started out, I had skinny arms. But although I was skinny, my stomach area, my core, my midsection was still chubby and still fat. And this is the case for a lot of young guys, and it becomes a super big struggle point in their lifting journey. If you have great genetics, you're going to be like those celebrity fitness influencers like you see, like David Lade, where if you compare his starting position, he still had a fucking 8-pack when he was like 12 years old and skinny. And it's going to cater a lot to how well you can build your physique in the future. The third thing, which is purely genetic and, to be honest, can't really be changed, is going to be your muscle insertions. Muscle insertion is basically where the muscle meets the joint. So for example, some people are known to have long biceps, whereas some people are known to have short biceps. And you can take this test on yourself right now by flexing your bicep as hard as you can and get your fingers and put them in between the gap of your bicep and the crease in your arm. And if you have short biceps, chances are this is going to be something like 3 fingers wide. But if you have long biceps, it's going to be something more like 1 or 2. And this completely changes how your aesthetics look. Guys with short biceps will have a bigger peak and their biceps will look bigger vertically, but they look super short and they look small. However, guys with long biceps, it will look more long and stretched out, but the benefit of that not having such a high peak, you will still have a bigger perceived arm in terms of width and in terms of overall measurement. I think it's beneficial to have more of a longer, fuller muscle belly, especially when it comes to things like the calves, which I struggle with myself. I have very short calves and I have skinny ankles. But some guys have big calves and big muscle bellies, and it makes them look aesthetic even without training. You also have to consider yourself against the general population. You are probably right now looking at all the angle maxes, all the fraud maxes on the internet, which position themselves in the perfect lighting, the perfect pump, the perfect angles, and lie about how long they've been training. But it's when you consider yourself against the average gym goer, you probably realize that your genetics aren't that bad. So that's just some food for thought that I would give you as a guy who's dealt with a lot of insecurity in the past. But it's still valuable to compare yourself to these guys because we want to be comparing against the best. We also have to think about how long we've actually been training for. Guys are coming in the gym nowadays and seeing these transformations on the internet and thinking that they can achieve the same transformation in a year, 2 years. Well, I'm going to be the one to fucking break it to you. If you're training as a natural, and especially if you're a skinny guy to start with, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years to build a super good physique if you have subpar genetics. There are guys, 1 in a million guys, who can get in the gym, lift for a year, and they look incredible. And that's why they are guys like David Lade, Alex Eubank, the fitness influencers of the world, the guys who have the genetic lottery. You can look at them, they all start in the same position, they all have great physiques to begin with. But for guys like you and me, which is who I'm tailoring this video at, we probably have subpar genetics. But I'm going to show you right now how you can actually overcome them. And the first way is actually through boosting your testosterone. I used to think that it was my genetics that were limiting me. But realistically, it was actually how my hormones were functioning. When you have low testosterone, like most guys in the modern day and age do, like I did as well, you tend to hold more body fat in the stomach area. and in places that are unfavorable. And you tend to have less bone mass, and that plays into the smaller frame and not looking as wide. When I boosted my testosterone, my body fat around my stomach got less, and I naturally got wider because my bones grew, my clavicles grew, and I got more of a frame, and I got an increased perceived frame because my body fat around my stomach became less as well. I'm going to give you 2 ways to boost your testosterone now, but if you're interested in the full protocol, along with how to build a physique and do everything in between, as a guy on self-improvement, then check out Project Undeniable in the link below. But the 2 key ways that I recommend to boost your testosterone is number 1, increase your animal fat intake. This means eating things like beef, eggs, and fish, and also by minimizing your cortisol. And this can be achieved by doing more productive habits throughout the day and living like a healthy human, which again, I teach this inside of Project Undeniable. These are things like going outside and not being a fucking loser who sits inside and plays games all day. Because I do these 2 things and you will notice that maybe your genetics aren't too shit after all. And the other way that you can overcome shit genetics, just like I did myself, is kind of what I mentioned already. It's to just simply be patient and increase your consistency and effort. Right now, you are training like a motherfucking pussy. Every time I go into the gym, I am fucking curious. I'm just fucking confused on why guys are training the way they do. They come in, they pick up the 5 kilo dumbbells, they do a few fucking half-ass reps, they sit around on their phone, they fucking do a bit of this, bit of that, and then they leave. No wonder they look like shit. These are the guys that are fat. These are the guys that don't have good physiques. It's always the guys that are fucking training super hard that have the best physiques. If you're in the gym, you need to be fucking training to failure, especially if you're a natty. If you're natural, you need to be literally doing head explosion sets. Whenever I'm training in the gym, I'm training so hard, I'm pushing myself, I'm progressively overloading, I'm trying to get stronger. It's not an easy task. I'm literally going to the point where my face is going red and I feel like I'm gonna fucking die. But that's how you create growth and that's how you actually progress. And if you're not doing this right now, then that is probably the reason at why you look like shit and why you're simply just falling back on the excuse of genetics, because I did the same thing as well. But what I did to help myself to train to failure and to train harder is to simply do less exercises and just focus on the key staple exercises that will actually get me the most growth. Following the 80-20 rule, 80% of the outputs come from 20% of the inputs. So if you just do the main things, you're going to get majority of the growth and the majority of the benefits. And the other way is simply by reducing the amount of reps and sets I did. Because so many guys are still following this dumb ass fucking approach of coming in the gym, doing 4 sets of 15 reps just to fucking get a bit of blood flow and then they leave. No, you should be doing like 2 sets of fucking 4 to 8 reps. That's what I would recommend. That is where you can truly gauge failure. That is where you know you're going to die if you try and get another rep. You're on the bench press. If you're doing 12 reps, you get to the 12th rep. Oh, you might be fucking tired. You can still probably push out the 13th, maybe even the 14th, maybe in the 15th. Then you're not even reaching failure. But if you are under the bar doing a set of 4, if you're on the fucking 3rd rep and it hardly goes up, bro, that 4th rep, you're engaging every single muscle fiber and it's just going to come up. You're not getting a 5th after that. And that's failure. That's how you create growth. And when you increase the weight and the sets and the rep and the intensity over time, you actually make gains. And if you just stick to the process, stick to the consistency, the path of maximum effort, and doing the same thing over and over, the repeatability of the gym, then you're going to be able to overcome your shit genetics. Because chances are, you probably don't even have shit genetics. You're just the average guy like me, and you were just being nerfed by your own body and your own mindset when it comes to training and when it comes to building a physique. So I hope this helped, and I hope this has been a wake-up call for you. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Jay, and it's my mission to help guys like you, insecure guys who aren't sure, who are on the road to self-improvement. And the first way to do this is by building an attractive physique. So again, check the link below if you're interested in learning on how you can improve yourself totally and have a complete glow up like I did. But with that being said, remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.